Alright guys, welcome back to Fur and Feathers. So if you've been enjoying my videos so far, if you'll hit a thumbs up down at the bottom, just to let me know that you kind of like things. If you don't, then keep scrolling, doesn't matter. If you want to follow, that's fine. I think when you follow and subscribe, then when something new comes in, it pops up on your screen and you can immediately watch it. I think that's correct, I'm not positive. So today we're canning chicken broth. So if you remember, this past Saturday we killed 37 meat birds, chickens, and we had the carcasses left over. So here's the carcasses, and if you notice, it's a bunch of meat still left on these birds. So instead of throwing them in the trash or in the woods for the wildlife to eat, we eat it. So what I do is I boil it down. I've been boiling it this morning, so here's one half of it. I've got another half to go, but here's half of my carcasses, and so you can tell it's got a good bit of meat here. So what I'm going to do is debone all this meat like this, chip it up, and we'll have chicken and dumplings for supper tonight. So fresh meat. So I'm going to show you what's left over out of this chicken carcass cookage. So you've got all the broth. So here's the broth. I've got probably, I'd say about 15 pints or so in this pot. It's a big stock pot, and we've got a couple of little pieces of fat and whatnot in it. I leave that in there. It just adds extra flavor in. I mean, it's already cooked, and it's gonna cook even more when I put it in jars. So I like a little extra flavor in my juice, in my broth. Now we've got chicken at the bottom of this pot. I'm trying not to stir it up too much because I don't want to stir the chicken up and put chicken in my jars. I want just broth and maybe a little bit of that fat. I won't put all that fat in there. So let me show you my setup. These are my pint jars. And just a little side note, thank you for everyone who shares their jars with me. I'm all the time getting people, well, not all the time, but a good bit of time, getting people to ask me, Stephanie, do you need jars? Yes. I don't even, as soon as they say jar, yes, I don't even hesitate. Yes, I will take all the jars that anybody has. I don't care if it's food in it. I'll empty it out, clean it real good, put it through my dishwasher, sterilize it. You've got jars. So please don't throw your jars away. If you want to save them, if you want to drop them by my house, if you want to ship them to me, I'll pay shipping. Whatever. I use a lot of jars because I can almost everything. And this time I'm going to try to can some chicken as well. So anyway, I've got my jars here. I've got my lids. My lids are in a pan of water. The lids have a cork around the edge of it, and you want that moist so that it will be flexible when you put it on there, and it seals down to the jar. So I put them in hot water so that they'll kind of flex and swell, so to speak. Then I have my funnel here. So my funnel fits down on my jar. And for you folks who can, I know this is elementary, but a lot of people don't, so they want to know how to do this. So just bear with me. So I put my funnel in here, and that gives me a bigger mouth to be able to pour my broth down into and not make such a mess on my jar. Got my ladle here. I've got my handy dandy little jar lifter, so that keeps you from burning your fingers when you go to put the jars in and take the jars out. You can get this at your local Walmart. So it just makes it a whole lot easier. And then I've got my salt. So I add a teaspoon of salt to each jar. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, a teaspoon. You can do a half a teaspoon. I do a teaspoon because I like mine a little saltier, because there's absolutely no flavor in this broth. And then I've got my bands here. I had to order more bands because they do tend to rust. I think I've got this one here. As you can tell, it's got just a little bit of rust on the inner lip there. That may hinder it from sealing. Sometimes I'll go ahead and use them, and I'm probably gonna go ahead and use that one. The rest of those look okay. I'm gonna go ahead and probably use that one and just take a chance. I mean, if it doesn't seal, you know, I'll use the darn thing because we cook every day. So I've got another pot over here, and it's starting to boil, I hope. This is my water bath. So I do pressure can a lot of my foods, but I water bath a little bit too. So I do all of my jellies and preserves and that kind of stuff, and my chicken broth, and soon my beef broth. So I'll water bath that. You don't have to have it under pressure, and I mean, it seals just fine. So, and if it doesn't, I mean, you can hear it unseal in the pantry. So, you know, you can tell when it unseals or doesn't seal, because you'll, on your lid, can you hear that? So when you go in the pantry and you hear that, you know it's unsealed. So, all right, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and start filling my jars. And I'm gonna see if I can do this one-handed because I've got the video going. Okay. All right, so we're gonna just ladle it over into the jars. Now I leave a little bit of what they call headspace in the jars, so I only fill it up to the bottom rim. So you can see the bottom rim right here. That's where your band will go, and so I usually fill it up to about the bottom right there. And I'm going to put some salt in it. Right. Now, one thing I did not get, and that was paper towels. So we're going to improvise. Let's see, I've got a rag. Here somewhere. Okay, so what we'll do is, even though I had this funnel in this jar, sometimes it will get a little wetness around it. So I just run my rag across there and just dry it. And then I take my ring and the cork part that's supposed to be swelling up, I just kind of blot it or wipe it and make sure that it's good and dry. You don't have to do the center part, just and you probably don't have to do this part, but that's the way I was taught. It's worked thus far, so I'm not messing anything up. We don't reinvent the wheel around here. And then it's hot, so I'm trying to do it quickly. All right, so that jar is hot. Duh, it's got hot broth in it. All right, so that one's done. So I'm gonna take it over and drop it in my pan. Pot of hot water. Now I'll continue to do this until my pot is full. And I don't know how many that pot will hold. I've never done it in that pot before, so I'm hoping that it'll hold at least 10 or 12 anyway. All right, so I'll be back. The water in the pot has been boiling. I just cut it down so it's simmering a little bit. It's been boiling about 20 minutes or so. I just want to make sure it cooks enough that the lids seal. So we're going to take them out and let them cool. And as they cool, you'll hear them. Oh, did you hear that? I'm probably talking. Darn it. Oh, I heard one pop. You'll hear them popping as I'm taking them out, and what it is the lids are sealing, so that one just sealed. So, hear it? They're popping. They're popping in the pot. So they seal pretty quick. That is music to a homesteader's ears. It's when there's cans, when their jars seal. Listen to that. I hope you can hear it. Singing to me. I know you're hearing that. Some of them have a lot louder pop than others. That's okay. A seal is a seal. It's like our local football team. A win is a win. I'm not talking about any one in particular. All right. Listen. Those are beautiful. So far I have 16 pints of chicken broth, fresh chicken broth. So I'm going to put the other carcasses that you see in the back there. I'm going to put those in the big pot. And I'm going to let this water cool down just a little bit because that pot, I'm sure, is quite warm. So I've got a little bit more here. I've probably got about 4 pints of chicken broth left in this pot. Instead of just doing 4 pints at a time, because it does take a little while for my water to heat up, start boiling and whatnot, I'm going to go ahead and add those carcasses back there to the pot, add a little bit more water, or a lot more water, and go ahead and cook those. And then I'll probably get another 16, probably end up getting about 40 pints of chicken broth off of these 37 birds. Not bad. Over here I've been taking the chicken off of the carcasses, and so we've got this much chicken already, and I've got 4 or 5 more carcasses to debone. So this will make a big pot of chicken and dumplings for tonight. I'm excited. All right, thanks for watching.